Hello, one and all. Today is the day that there is finally some news about the future of the Orville. The Orville Season 4. We waited for it. I know each and every one of you waited for it. I didn't wait for it. I've known. And it's not a feeling. And I keep trying to tell people it's not just a feeling. I know it's coming back. Well, now Seth MacFarlane's finally talked about the Orville. And before we get to that, like I just said, I've been telling people forever, keep the faith. Faith in the Orville. You got faith of the Orville, better yet. Many of you sci-fi fans, you grew up raised on being hopeful. You understood. You knew. Hey, JP knows something. He's telling us to keep the faith. The Orville's telling us to keep the faith, and you kept the faith. And I cannot be happier about that, because the Orville, we love this show. We absolutely adore it. It's the best sci-fi around. But then there are many others out there. Others that I call the internet. People that are part of the internet. The naysayers. The ones that always have that little voice in the back of their heads that say, you're going to fail. It's all going to go wrong. Don't believe in anything, because the other shoe will drop. Well, I'm not even wearing shoes, you guys. So today's the day I get to say, I told you so. I told you so. The Orville, we don't have the specific details on when it's coming back, but it is coming back. We'll get to what Seth MacFarlane said in just a second here. I do want to say hello to everyone. There are many of you here right now. Sound off if you're a fan of the Orville. The little chat box right there will let you do it. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I love the Orville, or whatever you want to say. Thomas Landry, how's it going? Jeff B. Brian Dawkins. I don't have official channel members anymore, but if anybody was an honorary official channel member, it is Brian Dawkins. Mr. Tommy Pickles, good to see you. Jim Novak, D. Cutshaw, Dawkins 74, Dakin 74, Dakin 74. I like to say Dawkins 74 because there used to be a band. A metal band way back in the day, in the long ago, in the before times, called Dawkins. Is that Ian or Elin Kurtzman? Kutzman? We'll say Kutzman. We won't say Kurtzman, but we will say Kutzman. Sorry about that. Sorry to have that name in the same sentence as your name. Terry Downing, Snail Messiah, Big BK, love the Orville. I'm Dark Fire. What is going on? That cat lover, how you doing? Hey, how are you doing? I can't wait for season 4. Well, I'm sure there's still going to be a wait, but it looks like we're getting a season 4 a little bit more officially than we've gotten before. We thought we were going to hear about this after the Hollywood strikes were over. We were led to believe that there'd be some news, and then it seems like, oh, maybe they're not allowed to have official news yet because other stuff going on. The TED series starts this Thursday. We'll be talking about that very soon as well. We got we'll have some TED Talks here about the new TED series. Also, there's some other things Seth is working on. And we all know it's about waiting for Seth to finish up the things he's got to finish up so he can get back to doing more Orville. But I do have some questions. There are questions about some of the things that he said that I have that opens up the possibilities even further, in my opinion, you guys. NA Warrior 69, hell, F word, yes, period, 100%. Let's get them 100%s going, you guys. Here, I'll do a 100% for that. Let me do a couple, 100%, 100%. So there you go. Doug Beasley, I love the show. I'm so glad to hear positive news. And, you know, anybody that watches this stream, any producers, maybe Seth MacFarlane himself, might watch this stream and he'll see all your wonderful comments in the chat replay. So that's good to know. You guys are showing your love. Margot, what happened to JP? He was just here a second ago. Am I not here anymore? Maybe you got to refresh. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Movie Mouse, 100%. Island or Ian. I can't tell if that's two L's or an I and an L. It's hard to tell with the font that YouTube chose to use for their chat boxes. Where did it go? Just it's going fast. Something's indeed SAG in SAG-AFTRA. That's right. We thought we were going to hear an update from the Orville. I was told, hey, they're just waiting for the strikes to be over. The strikes were over, what, a month or two ago? We didn't quite hear anything yet, but we got something here. We're going to go to Seth MacFarlane's comments about the Orville. JP version 2.0. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to have a computer that I can go live on. Just recently, Seth did like a bunch of interviews for the new TED series. I was not part of that. With my computer being exploded and YouTube demonetizing this channel. That's right, you're watching a demonetized channel right now. I swear, you guys are being bad watching demonetized channels. What Seth did a bunch of TED interviews, but of course a lot of the people that were interviewing are fans of the Orville. So a lot of different outlets were asking about the Orville, and he answered about 3 or 4 different people. So we'll talk about a little bit more in depth in that first article that came out. Gregory Papas, how's it going? 100%. Evil Twin, 100%. I'm Dark Fire 007. Okay, my finger is tired. On the 100s, LOL. Yeah, is it Julian? Ignacio Adyar Paz was sad thinking that 4th was a no-go. Great news. All right, let's get to the news, you guys. What's up, Pranakasha Production? Yeah, demonicalized. I no longer, they took my monocle away. Dang it. Boff says, this announcement explains why Scott Grimes liked a comment of mine on Facebook, year-old comment on their official fan page. Basically just said, love the show, hoping for season 4. Absolutely. And a lot of things I've commented on directly about, you know, the whole Adrian Palicki interview, this and that, got some likes from some of the cast of the Orville, so I knew I was on the right track. I bet Seth is trying to squeeze out 2 or 3 more seasons. Oh, I would hope so, though I'm sure he'll be happy just to get this one solidified, season 4, and then build upon that. I have some ideas on that, but let's go with what Seth MacFarlane said, some of the things he said here. This is from The Wrap, another website that talks about things, you guys. Seth MacFarlane says, the Orville isn't canceled. He said it with his own mouth. There's no official death certificate, says MacFarlane. It's still with us, he says. The sci-fi series creator and star tells The Wrap. Oh, I could totally go for a rap right now. Ooh, what's your favorite type of rap, you guys? I'm not talking about the music. I'm talking about the food. Seth MacFarlane, the creator, writer, and star of The Orville, has offered a cryptic update on the sci-fi series Fate. All I can tell you is that there is no official death certificate for The Orville, MacFarlane told The Wrap in an interview when asked about an update on a possible season 4. It is still with us, he says. I can't go any further than that at the moment. There are too many factors, he says. He can't, well, one factor is he's supposed to be talking about Ted, promoting the new Ted series. The Orville isn't even a Peacock property yet. Ha ha ha. But the Ted series is, so that's what he's supposed to be talking about. And he seemed annoyed, you guys, that he wasn't able to say more, but he does say a little bit more here. MacFarlane's co-star, Scott Grimes, added that conversations about The Orville Season 4 began before the SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild of America strikes. So before the strikes, they were starting to get the talks going about a Season 4. He also says, I do know that we are still talking about it. It's not dead in any sort of way whatsoever, says Gordon Malloy. It's just about when, where, and how, and building the stuff again. Some of that I have questions about. Grimes told The Wrap. I'm excited because it's one of the greatest things to work on, so I have just have my fingers crossed. And I know Seth wants to do it, and that usually holds a lot of power. Remember last year? And some people are still giving out old ass misinformation. People even now say Seth doesn't want to do it. Seth doesn't want to do a new season. They were saying it last year. They were saying it before season 3 came out, when season 3 was in production. Why do I know this? Because I get this every day on my social medias and my YouTubes, you guys. But Scott says, I know Seth wants to do it. I've told you guys I know Seth wants to do it. He's told me he wants to do it. And Seth wants to do it, and that usually holds a lot of power, Scott Grimes says. And I hope he gets to, because it's one of his babies that he just loves, and it's a blast to work on. The update from the MacFarlane and Grimes comes after their co-stars Adrienne Palicki said she was no longer doing that. I have a prediction about the Adrienne situation. I think Adrienne will be back. I think a year or so will go by, the offer comes in, hey, we're going to be doing the new season of the Orville. Let's get you all contracted up and ready to go with us. She'll probably look around and say, hey, I don't got any crazy special roles going on right now. I don't have a big TV series. Oh, one whole year of amazing work? Yeah, sign me up. I'm going to do that. But she might have them make some amendments to a contract. Like she was talking about maybe having holding fees for when it takes way too long and they're still within the contract. Or maybe she'll have it where she can get out of the contract, or have the contract be limited where it's just when she's filming. And then, once the contract's over, when the show goes into actually being edited and promoted and all stuff, then she can go do other stuff. There'll be some sort of amendment, but I don't think she's out. She might think she might be out, but I think when the offer comes in, she loves these people. They love her. They all love working together. I think she'll be back, but she'll probably be a little bit smarter with her contract, or have some provisions, you guys. It's easy. That's just the business. That's how it works. Her even saying, making it sound like she's not going to do it anymore might be a tactic to get a better contract next time. These things happen. That's how Hollywood works, you guys. Adrienne Palicki said she was no longer doing that, meaning she's just not filming the Orville. Yeah, nobody's filming the Orville right now. When asked about a 4th season of the Hulu series, during an appearance on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast in November, Palicki proceeded to clarify that she truly doesn't know the answer as to whether the Orville will continue. Well, now we know. Seth MacFarlane says it's not done, so it's coming back, you guys. I think there's talk that it could possibly be something that certain people want to do, but it's a really difficult show to do. That's what she said. And when she said certain people, that's her kind of being, diplomatic, trying to make it sound like she doesn't want to do it anymore, which at the time maybe she didn't want to. But hey, time goes by, you start missing your friends, you start missing getting one whole year of steady acting work, and I'm sure she's going to sign back up, you guys. So I wouldn't worry about that, but we'll come up with alternative solutions to that problem in case she decides not to. But everyone else seems to be on board and ready and excited. And then, just stuff we've already talked about. Talking about Jay Lee eating saltines and Gatorade because he spent all of his money on his own movie. It's called being a producer. Sometimes you gotta have lean times when you're creating, you guys. But it looks like we're coming back, but we don't know when. I predicted a long time ago that at least 2025. And I actually have a story. I can't tell you the specifics, but I will tell you that someone from the Orville, I was just sending, hey, hope everything's going well. Good job with this or that. And then I said, hey, I was thinking about it. And this is back when the Orville season 3 was still airing. I said, thinking about it, how long it takes to write a season and to film a season and to edit a season, I don't see you guys being back until at least 2025. I go, but either way, I'll be here waiting. Something like that. Something nice. Not 2 minutes later, my phone is ringing. I just said that one thing, and my phone is ringing. And talking to the Orville, And they're saying, look, there is no Orville without Seth. So when Seth is ready, that's when there's going to be more Orville. I understood that right away. It made sense. I already thought about that before having the conversation. But just saying that in an innocent text, hey, hope everything's well, boom, instant phone call. And I was like, what? Did I step on a landmine or something? But yes, the Orville looks like it's coming back, you guys. But we don't know if it's going to be... I think it's going to be a full season, but by full season, I don't know how many episodes that means in this day and age. It could mean 6, it can mean 10, it can mean 12. Don't know that. But also, let me go back to the article here. I think Scott Grimes said. Let me find it here. Okay. So Scott Grimes says it's just about when they're able to do it. That's when Seth is free, and I'm sure most people will be free to get started. Where, that's the one that I'm like, where? Does that mean where do they film it? Do they film it at a Hulu studio? Do they film it at a Disney studio? I don't think they'll be filming it at Fox Studio anymore. So I don't know if Disney will be the carrier of the Orville when it's time to get back to space, you guys. I think, like I've said before, Disney, I think, is the best platform for a sci-fi series like that, especially one that's loved all around the world. But I would love it if the Orville went to Peacock, where Seth already works. That's Seth's boss's Peacock, NBC. Would love it if he was able to bring the Orville under one house, under one roof, the Peacock roof, you guys. Absolutely would love it. Of course, I'd have to do all the research and find out all the different places in the world people can watch season 4 of the Orville. But we did that for season 3 for a while before Disney finally brought them on August 10th. 2022, I think. 10th. That sounds about right. Then everybody could watch it worldwide on Disney Plus, no problem. But if it goes to Peacock, just like all the other shows that are on Peacock that are big, they go around they're shown all around the world. It's just going to be on different channels and different other more local streaming services to those parts of the world. But we get that all figured out, and there's plenty of time for that, you guys. Plenty of time. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Seth MacFarlane finally talking about the Orville? He's been very mum's the word, and he's been doing it on purpose because there's business stuff. You can't just be popping and locking announcements left and right when you're supposed to be focusing on other things, or you're paid for by a studio to promote another project at a certain time. You can't be doubling up things. So he was trying to be very. He was reluctant to talk, but he still had to say something because he's on Twitter too. He's on the internet. He reads all the stuff people says. All the posts that you guys put out about, hey, renew the Orville. Can't wait for the Orville. I love the Orville. He's seeing that stuff. So he probably really, really, really wants to talk a lot about it, but I'm sure he's figuring it out as well. I'm wondering if he's paying out of pocket. The Orville is a very expensive show. A lot of these streaming services are a little reluctant right now in the climate to put $100 million into something, but he knows there's going to be a return. So maybe, and he's very powerful. He's got money. He has his own money. He can produce it. He has his own production company, Fuzzy Door Productions. He can do it himself, and maybe Peacock will probably give him some money to make the Orville as well. But you never know. It might still be on Disney, you guys. At least Disney has the reruns on their Plus schedule. Yes, they do, as of right now. Now, I'm hoping that they have new seasons as well. Even though Peacock is my favorite, I love it the most. I don't watch Disney Plus hardly at all unless something really special comes on there. But I do think Disney is the better platform. That's right. D. Cutshaw says, hashtag renew the Orville. YouTube user, as long as we have a chance to get the Orville, then we will all be good. Right? The Orville, First off, utopian sci-fi, the Orville specifically uses this genre to not only show how people are, but show how people can be if they were better. So you got people, that's why we love the characters so much. They're just regular people, but we get to see them go above and beyond being just a regular human and do these amazing things while still keeping their humanity. You can only do that really with utopian sci-fi, and the only true utopian sci-fi is the Orville, as far as new stuff. Samwise, if Seth is pulling out his own money, then he'd go to the old George Lucas and make more merchandise. There should be more merchandise. Ain't gonna lie. Official merchandise. I want toys. I think we all want toys. I don't even play with toys, but I would love some Orville toys. Action figures, more specifically. I'll even settle for Funko Pops. I'd love to have a little Bortus Funko Pop. Wouldn't that be amazing? I'll just keep him right here with me. He'd keep us company during these streams. Pick him up, talk to you guys a little bit. It'd be great. That's all I want is Bortus on a live stream. Brian Dawkins says the Orville animated series as well. I say, let's do the Orville. Let's do the Orville spin-off. Let's do the animated series spin-off as well. Let's do a movie. Let's keep it going. Cereal boxes, you guys. I'm just going to have to call you Kutzman. Kutzman, if Peacock takes it, it's going to be on 2 different platforms. The Peacock platform, and then a different NBC-owned service abroad, perhaps. Oh, you're talking about the different episodes. Well, if Peacock takes it, would they get the whole library and they can have all 3 seasons over there as well? From what I see with these streaming services, a lot of them have the same content, or they'll have content and then all of a sudden that content gets removed and put over onto a different streaming services. A lot of these streaming services have sloppy seconds, you guys. I'm calling it right now. It has been a very long time since season 3. It's been, oh God, how long has it been? What day is it right now? Oh, we're in January. It's been over a year, almost a year and a half probably, since we saw the last episode of the Orville. But we'll always keep the Orville alive right here, especially when my channel gets remonetized. Because I'm not spending hours on a video to put on YouTube that's not monetized. We'll do live shows. We'll just talk to each other instead of clicking on some dumb video I made. Until I'm remonetized, though, and then all of a sudden we're going to be making some videos again. Yes, I'm Darkfire says, we need resolution to Ed's daughter and Kelly grabbing his rear end in the last scene. Did she grab his rear end? I know they held hands. Did she do a little booty tickle? I know she grabbed his hand. That I remember. But yes, there is a resolution to that. We were led to believe that, oh, maybe Ed and Kelly are going to get back together, or they're going to try. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it does work out. Maybe it works out. Maybe season 4 premieres. It all worked out. They got together. They're loving it. They're having the best life because they're best friends. But a couple months previously, she was sent on a mission and died in that mission. And Ed has to deal with that. What a great dramatic storyline for that character to deal with a great loss. The love of his life. His perfect person. He has to deal with that, and maybe he's taking chances he shouldn't be taking because he doesn't care anymore. And then he gets his groove back and he learns to care again. That sounds like a great story for Ed. Darth Owens. It feels very long, yes, you were saying, since season 3. It also ended along with The Expanse and Lost in Space. Hope they bring these great shows back to life. I don't think we'll get more Expanse unless it's a spinoff. I can imagine a spinoff Expanse series. Lost in Space, I only saw a couple episodes of that when they were brand new, but I know people loved it. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Stony Girl, if Disney would just keep the Orville and buy Paramount, all the sci-fi will be in one place. And I have heard that Disney Plus is very keen on owning as much good sci-fi as possible. Good sci-fi? The Orville, you say? Hello. So my other idea is that it is going to Disney, but Disney has time to build up, to save up the money to pay for it, because Disney doesn't want to spend too much money right now after these strikes. Trust me, you guys, you may not be seeing it, but these streaming services are hurting because of those strikes. And so all of them are kind of are holding on to their money right now. But then once they start making money again, which they will, they'll start investing into bigger shows. The Orville hopefully being the first one. T. Stoney wants model ships. Well, there are, like actual where you put them together models. Because you can get small pre-made models of the Orville. Master Replicas has a bunch. They're just coming out with them right now. They're still premiering new ship figures from the Orville. But you don't put them together yourself. They're already made. But they are high quality. But yes, Anaya. Ed needs to get his daughter. And we have to deal with oh God, what's her name? Oh, why am I missing out on names? Not Havina, but the Krill, the mother of Ed's child. I can't remember her name right now. That's so dumb that I know her name. I've said it a million times. Yeah, they don't have Funko Pops. Not official ones. A lot of fans have made Orville Funko Pops. You know, they bust out the paint and the molds, and they make things because people are creative. Ooh, Samwise says, I'm a t-shirt person myself. Hulu has t-shirts, but they're over $45. That's a lot for a damn t-shirt. It's not a special t-shirt. It's just a regular t-shirt. Well, I got cheaper Orville t-shirts available. Just click on the link in the description of this video. It's down there somewhere. Robin says, I agree with your storyline. He loses her and then trouble follows. But that's for after they solve everything Scott mentioned. When he said where, I took that to mean which streaming service. Yeah, I mean where? Which streaming? I take it as possibly being that too. Either which studio, which streaming service. Anaya is the daughter's name. Talia, there you go. Gio got it. Talia, we know, Talia. Hey, Saeed, how you doing? Saeed says, by the way, JP, how are you doing? Oh, well, today I was trying to work, because I got to work every day, 7 days a week, just to barely maybe pay the bills, doing rideshare. But Saturdays suck. There's hardly any rides on Saturdays. I don't know why. Sundays are pretty okay. So I came home early so I can get a little bit more, get everything ready for this live stream without have a big old time crunch, and barely making it, because I've done that before. So I was trying to work today, but I didn't get any work today. I'm sure that will have some repercussions here in a couple days when the phone bill is due. First Officer Bordas. I mean, I think Adrian would choose to stay once the offer comes in, but you never know. You never know. Maybe she will get a great show, a great series, and not have the time for it. Understandable. But I really love Kelly Grayson's character, and Adrian does a great job with her. So I hope she stays. But if she doesn't, there's workarounds. You can make some great stories. There's a lot of other great characters that people even like better, though she was always my favorite. Dawkins says, I think the show would be better off if Kelly left. Then it can focus more on other things. Boom, there you go, other characters. It'd be nice to see Ed try to get a significant other from of a different person, right? A fresh start for Ed. Right there, Kutzman says, would love a Bortus with a cigarette Funko Pop. That's got to be the number one on the list if they're going to make Funko Pops. And they should. Funko Pop, get on it. Come on. I think they would have regular length episodes. It's just someone was talking about it here. Oh, gosh. I don't know. I don't know where it's at. But yes, I think a season 4 would probably, to save money, have normal length episodes, 50-minute episodes, as opposed to, a couple of them episodes were almost an hour and a half in season 3, which is great. That's what Seth wanted, but it does cost a lot more. So maybe just, reining in the story to a tight 55 minutes, an hour on the dot, maybe. I think it'd be okay. I think everyone would be okay with that. Darth Owen says, thanks for mentioning master replicas. The Orville model now, I'm going to save some money for it. Ha ha ha. Don't even save it. Just steal it. It's the Orville. You got to get it now. Don't wait. Go rob a bank. Get you that Orville model. Well, you don't have to rob a whole bank. It's not that expensive. But hey, keep the leftovers for yourself. Job well done. First Officer Bortus. Brian's calling it right now. We're going to have First Officer Bortus. We got to figure out what's going on with Bortus and Clyden. Is Clyden really changed, or is this all a big setup? Maybe Macfarlane is having him infiltrate the Orville and the whole Bortus Topa thing, because that's what they really care about. Maybe Clyden is actually secretly working for the Macfarlanes, and he's pretending to be all super nice now. I hope not, but that'd be a good story too. So how is Bortus and Clyden's marriage going? It seemed to be going pretty well in the season 3 finale. Hooray! Hooray for you! Chris says, JP, interesting question to think about. If the TED series does very well, does that hurt our chances for Orville season 4 sooner, or does it help it? You can make a case for both sides. You could. I don't know if they plan on doing any more TED after this first one. Seth said that Peacock wanted it ASAP, as soon as possible, because you got to remember they hired Seth right before the COVID pandemic, and then Hollywood shut down for a year and a half. So they hired him, gave him like $500 million or something like that, so that he can make content, become an employee of NBC's Peacock, and then the world ended for a year and a half, and they didn't get anything from him because they couldn't. And so that's probably another reason they wanted the TED series ASAP. But I do know it's only like 6 or 7 episodes, and they're dropping all of them at once this Thursday. I hope they would change their mind, because I think you get a better fandom for a property if you divvy it out a little bit. But hey, they want it, and they want it now. I also do know that the new TED series is going to be just like the original films as far as humor goes. So if you're like, oh, they're going to tone it down, blah, blah, blah. No, they're not. It's Seth MacFarlane being Seth MacFarlane, doing things the way he wants to do them. But yeah, I don't know if they plan on doing any more TED. But if it does well, I'm sure they want more Seth MacFarlane projects. The Orville, would be a great one. I've said this last week. I think it'd be awesome to have a Million Ways to Die in the West TV series. I'd watch it. I'll watch it a lot. I'll watch it more than twice. Saeed says, I'm doing good. Did you get your computer fixed? I do have a working computer now, though I think it needs a new graphics card. I see a lot of erroring out. I'm able to still do things, but I do get, like, if I open up Photoshop, I have to use Photoshop all the time to do this content creation thing. It does say something's wrong with the GPU, the graphics processor unit, or whatever the U stands for, and but it still works. But it does work not the same. It's not as fast as it used to be. So I did get a warning that the GPU's not working. So I have to figure that out. But I do have a computer right now that's working, and I'm streaming live to you now from that pewter. I'm able to edit videos again on this pewter. Yeah, Kutzman wants that Bortus with the cigarette Funko. We talked about that. We should never stop talking about that because that's important. I need that. I'll even accept a Bortus with a corner piece of cake, though he never got a corner piece. But he deserves one. Dark Helmet says, I need to order more stuff off Hulu soon. Yes, Hulu has an Orville story. You got lots of shirts and maybe some shot glasses, things like that. A sweater. I know they had ugly Christmas sweaters for the Orville. That was good. This is not a channel. Hey, what's up? This is not a channel. Says, hey man, hope things get better for you. Go the Orville. Well, things will get better as soon as this channel gets remonetized. Man, it is close to ending me. YouTube, you almost ended me, but I'm fighting through. And once that happens on the 29th of this month, the very end of this month, I can press the little tab that says reapply. I'm not able to press it now, it won't let me, but at the very end of this month, it'll let me reapply. Do I get approved? I have no idea. I've been cleaning up things in my library, my video library, that might be suspect, or to the algorithm might be suspect. I still have to erase the Christmas song, The Tale of Charlie. It's still up on this channel, but I do need to erase that very soon before I reapply, so it might still be there for another week or two. But if I get remonetized, we're back on to regular videos, you guys. Don Ranger Power. I used to use Photoshop. Now I use a few alternatives, including GIMP and Photopea. Ooh, are they good? And more importantly, are they free? Because I've been paying for Photoshop for years now, and I would really like to stop paying for anything, really. You used to be able to just own it. You could buy one copy of it and own it. But now a lot of these services figured out, let's just rent. Let's rent to people. Let's get them paying a subscription. Then we make that big money. I would love to stop giving them money. So I'll check those out. I'm Darkfire. I just think Gordon or Lamar should be the first officer. The role makes sense with their aging look. Well, Lamar, I don't think will be the first officer. I think he's going to be that engineer. He's the Scotty of the ship. Gordon, maybe. But it would be, technically, it would be Bortus. He's next in line. So even if they want to give it to someone else, the way the ship works, they're not going to allow it. He's next. Yes, the Ted series is rated R. It's very raunchy. I don't know if there's any nudity in it, but I do know that the verbals are the same as the movies. Very raunchy, very pushing the envelope. And Seth spoke on that too. He said, when you have animated characters like a teddy bear or Peter Griffin, you can say more crazier things and people aren't going to, you can't cancel Peter Griffin. He says you can't tweet at Peter Griffin. He doesn't exist. So he goes, animated characters you can do that stuff with as opposed to a humanoid. And in this day and age, that's true. Symbolic noise, ASMR. When I saw Scott Grimes in this show, The Orville, I hadn't seen or heard of him since Critters, the horror film. I know he was doing other things. Same exact story. Symbolic. Same here. I was like, I saw the show and I recognized Scott Grimes. I was like, he looks familiar. I'm like, oh, that's the kid from Critters. But yeah, he's done a lot since Critters and before The Orville. He's done a lot, and we're going to see him again in the new Ted series. He's one of the stars of the new Ted series, along with the girl that plays Lysella on The Orville, along with the young man who played Tomlin on The Orville, who's the star of the Ted series, the official #1 star besides Ted. Ted, of course, is Seth MacFarlane from The Orville. And Penny Johnson-Gerald is playing Ted and John's principal on the new Ted series. What other Orville guest stars will make their way onto the Ted series? We're going to talk about it once we see the Ted series. And I'll probably have to make a video about that. Now, remember, with the Ted series, you can watch the whole thing in one shot on Thursday. I don't know how long the episodes are. I'm assuming half hour because comedies, like straight up comedies, usually work better in the half hour format. Maybe it's longer, but I would think half hour. So what, 6-7 episodes, half hour each. You can knock out the full first season of Ted. Don't know if they're doing any more seasons, but you can knock it out in an afternoon or in the evening, which is what I'm going to do because I got to work on Thursday. I got to work sunrise to sunset. Sunrise, sunset. That's what I do. Update the driver of the GPU. Yeah, that's step one. I haven't got to it yet, Joe. I do not have a lot of time to be at this computer because I'm driving all day long. But yeah, that'll be #1. I tried it really quick, but the links to update drivers wasn't popping up, so I'm like, oh, I don't got time for this. I got to get back on the road. But yeah, I'll try that first. And if not, GPU time. Yeah, you got to root for Ted to do well. Anything that Seth MacFarlane and the Orville, all of our friends from the Orville are doing, which they're doing the Ted series right now, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera, we got to root for the Ted series. Unless you just really hate talking teddy bears. Yeah, keep the Seth brand going strong. I plan on being with EGOTASTIC FUNTIME. I don't know what TV shows I'm going to talk about, if any. Well, the ones that I do talk about will be Seth MacFarlane TV shows. So I'm sure he's going to be around for a while, making things. I'll be here for a while, talking about the things he makes. As well as updating my GPU driver. Fingers crossed that works. Don Ranger Power says, yet I have been saving as much money as possible on Photoshop Essentials. I don't know what Photoshop I got. Whatever one just allows me to use Photoshop. I think it's got Lightroom and stuff like that, but I don't really use Lightroom, even though I think it's a good program. Oh, it don't matter if I like it or not. This isn't a Photoshop sponsored show. But I like using Photoshop. I just don't use Lightroom as much because I figure I can usually get that same stuff done on Photoshop instead of opening up a second program. Yes, so I'm guessing Ted will be set in Boston. Here's the thing with the Ted series. It's a prequel series. It takes place in the 90s when John, Mark Wahlberg's character, and Ted were still teenagers. So Ted's a teenager and John's a teenager, and it's about they're making Ted go to school because he's just hanging around the house all day, getting into trouble and, you know, having parties, this and that. And so the dad gets mad and says, "You're going to school and you're going to learn to not be an idiot." Scott Grimes' character. So some of it will be them doing stuff at the high school, getting into trouble. Ted dealing with that, but also there's a whole town. There's different situations going on. There's things going on at the house. There's things going on at this restaurant. A bunch of funny stuff. I can't wait to check it all out this Thursday. But yeah, it's a prequel. What's a Marky Mark? A Marky Mark is a Mark Wahlberg who used to go by the name Marky Mark when he was a hip hop artist. My first introduction to Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Good Vibrations. Whoa, Good Vibrations. Something like Sun Kissed. Check it out. Go to the YouTubes. Type in Marky Mark, Good Vibrations. But yeah, it's going to be very Boston-y. Everyone's got Boston accents. Scott Grimes' character has a very thick Boston accent. He sounds a lot like, oh gosh, what's the comedian's name? He always shaves his head, but he has red hair. Bill Burr. He sounds a lot like Bill Burr. And he's got a mustache. What? That's right. Don't forget, Brian says, Ted is the king of the wieners. See the new upcoming season, you'll know what that means. Check out the trailer, you'll know what that means. John Smith, what's going on? The only show I've ever binged an entire season without a break is Cobra Kai, and I didn't even plan it. Those episodes are just so freaking short. Same here. I started watching Cobra Kai, and before I knew it, the season was over. And this is a bunch of seasons ago. And there was no more seasons to watch. I finished it. Now there's a lot of seasons to watch. Oh, why is the Orville poster rotated 90 degrees? It just ended up that way. I didn't have the space to do it long ways, so I just kind of put it sideways, and I was like, it'll be fun. So it's just there sideways. I thought about making it. I'd have to reorganize things to get it upright and in the shot, in the frame. But I like the idea. It might be something worth doing. That's right. Scott Grimes was also in TNG. Didn't most of his stuff get cut? Wasn't he a part of a group of friends that was hanging out with Wesley? Did they do a ski trip? Let me know. I can't remember. A futuristic ski trip. Wolfgang, what's up? Marky Mark was very successful in Germany, but it took long for me to understand who Mark Wahlberg is. Yeah, I still think of him as Marky Mark, even though I've seen a lot more Mark Wahlberg stuff than I have listened to Good Vibrations. I usually end up liking almost all of Marky Mark's movies, especially if he does comedy. I'm in. I'm going to watch you, Mark Wahlberg. What makes Mark Wahlberg so good in comedies is he's not trying to be funny. He's the straight man usually, and that usually ends up being hilarious. You take the parking spot. No, you take the parking spot. I insist. That required some Arnie accent. Might not be for that, but that sounded like a great line for Arnold to say. I don't remember. Did Gordon ever get his future sandwich? He did. He did in the season 3 finale, Future Unknown. He was complaining about Bortus stealing his thunder, basically, when it comes to being the best man at Isaac's wedding. He was complaining to Ed and John how, like, oh, Bortus thinks he's so funny, this and that, and then all of a sudden the sandwich appears. And his anger immediately switched to, oh, I feel better now, because he took a bite of that sandwich. I knew it would make me feel better. Actually, one of the latest Shortvilles I put up on the Shortville channel, which right now is just all Orville shorts. I just put up a scene of Scott Grimes breaking while doing that scene. He kept trying to eat the sandwich, kept laughing and making jokes, this and that. But anyway, that's the latest short on the Shortvilles. I don't know if there's a link to the Shortvilles in the description. You have to check and see. I can't check and see without messing everything up on my end. I'm Darkfire says, the peak of Mark Wahlberg's acting career was The Italian Job. That was a long time ago. And that was my Boston accent. Oh, Parkin Spot. Ha ha ha. Parkin. Okay, that's not Arnie. That's Marky. Say hello to your mother for me. A parking spot. They were talking about the Orville news in this Facebook group I'm in, and I commented, the only people who want to believe the Orville is dead are haters of Egotastic Funtime. Yeah, that's right. You haters. Hating on me just because I have belief. I'm not letting the internet control the way I feel about things. No, sir. Oh, let's see what we got here. Something's happening on my phone. I got an alert. Hey, thank you so much. Let's see who's from. Does it tell me? Shane, thank you for being a PayPal tipper and buying JP a beer. Or maybe 2 beers. Well, it depends if I go to the store or if I go to a bar. I don't go to the bar very much. Thank you for tipping a beer to the PayPal page. You click the link at the top of the chat. Much appreciated. I'll probably use it to just keep the lights on. But hey, you can't drink a beer if you can't see it. Thank you very much. Keeping us alive here. Just got to make it through February, you guys. I just have to make it through February. Then I can drive 40 hours a week instead of 60 some hours a week. Much appreciated. Yes, most of Scott Grimes' scenes got cut, but he was briefly at the end of the episode of TNG. Yes. I remember watching a video about... There's a video on YouTube. You can actually see more of Scott Grimes. And this is kid Scott Grimes. You know, he was a teenager at the time. There's a video. You can watch more of his scenes from that episode. And somebody's talking... I don't know if he's talking about it or what. But you can watch the scenes. He wasn't quite the Gordon Malloy Scott Grimes yet at that point. But he was getting there. You can see it. You can see him growing and improving. Almost at full Malloy levels. I can't believe nobody's seen the Boston accent parking spot commercial. Commercials are tough nowadays because with all the streaming services and not everyone gets commercials anymore. For years, I never got commercials, and I always love commercials. I like studying commercials, the way they wrote them, how they deal with promoting a product. I always found that very interesting. So I've always been a fan of commercials, but I went probably 7-8 years without watching commercials because of all the streaming services didn't have commercials. But now I'm back on commercials. Why? Because all the streaming services have commercials now. But I'm paying for it. Yeah, but you're still getting commercials. Amazon Prime. Pay the same price, you're still getting commercials, but you can pay us more and we'll take those commercials away. First commercials are free. Just a taste. Geo says Scott Grimes in TNG is just like his character in the Orville. He was wearing some horrendous blue unitard that was so blue it was blue. And telling Wes, who'd lost Nantes, that he needs him to ski. I need you to ski, Wesley Crusher. Ski, damn it. I don't want to ski. I just want to wear my ugly sweaters. Too bad. Guess what? When you ski, you're going to need a sweater because it's cold. You can wear all the ugly sweaters you want, Wesley Crusher. Dawkins says, my favorite Wahlberg role is from The Other Guys. That's a good movie. That would make a great show. It would make a great show. I'm a Peacock. You got to let me fly. You should have that on Peacock. I don't think Scott Grimes was in Enterprise. But a lot of people behind the scenes on Enterprise work for the Orville. Set design, directors, graphic artists, writers, effects people. They all worked on Enterprise first, and they got snatched over. Well, they weren't doing Enterprise anymore when the Orville came out. But I think Seth, who also was on Enterprise for 2 episodes, probably made friends, and he invited a lot of the Enterprise people to work on the Orville. I always considered the Orville to be the passing of the torch from Enterprise to another sci-fi show. Because this is a Wahlberg's channel, Connor. Connor says, why is there so much discussion about Wahlberg? Because this is egotastic Wahlberg time right now. I don't know. We get off into weird tangents. This group here, we start just talking about the entire world. You never know what topic we're going to land on. Today, it's Mark Wahlberg. All right, Saeed, thank you so much for stopping by. Everyone's Saeed's leaving us right now. They got to go. But keep doing what you do, says Saeed. I'm going to do that. That's what we're all going to do. We're going to keep doing what we do. And what do? We love the Orville, and we talk about it. And we let everybody know, hey, the Orville's where it's at. Don't you want to be where it's at? Start watching the Orville. Get them numbers pumped up. We're not going to let, in this day and age, where there's so many distractions, a kabillion TV shows, half a kabillion streaming services, YouTube, notification after notification on your phones. It's hard for any show to capture an audience. The Orville did it, but of course Hollywood wants a show to have just huge audiences in order to just keep throwing money at it. The Orville did well, but it's hard for a show when there's so many shows for anything to get traction. So you get those numbers going, you keep them up, you keep engaging with the Orville. You talk about the Orville on your social medias, hashtag the Orville, hashtag renew the Orville. It all adds up into a big pile of promotion, and producers look at the big pile and they're like, okay, that's a big enough pile. Let's throw all of our money into this, which they're not going to do right now because of the strikes. But eventually, a year or so from now, a couple months from now, they're going to be bringing in money again. Now, one thing the streaming services have been doing ever since those strikes, because nothing was being made in Hollywood for months and months and months. So you probably have noticed all these streaming services bringing in TV shows and movies from other parts of the world because Hollywood wasn't making anything. So that's why you're seeing all these foreign shows and foreign movies pop up in your streaming news feed. I don't know what they call it. And usually that annoys the hell out of me because I don't speak the languages of a lot of these shows. But there have been some shows where they speak English, or at least the dubbing is okay enough, but I have a hard time with dubbing. There's been some shows I've discovered. The show I just started watching is from the great country of Canada. The CBC has a show called Run the Burbs. So far there's 2 seasons. Maybe they're making more. I don't know. But Hulu just got it. A show called Run the Burbs, and it's a fun family comedy. It's new. It's only got 2. I'm in the middle of the 2nd season right now, and having a great time with it. It's 2 parents that are in their late 30s probably, but they're still trying to be, and they got their kids, and their kids are teen and preteen, and the parents are still trying to be just like super cool like they were when they were in their early 20s, which doesn't translate anymore at their current age. And it's just them trying to, you know, be parents, figure it out, and do what they can. It's a fun show with funny characters. Run the Burbs. Recommended it. And Jessica's been watching Dr. Death, also on Hulu. So I watched most of season 1 and most of season 2 with her. It's a pretty good show. Not usually my type of thing, but I enjoyed watching it. Yes, Penny Johnson-Gerald was on DS9. Was she the wife or just the significant other of Captain Sisko? It's one of those, right? I want to say married, but I can't remember for sure. Frakes would be good. And Jonathan Frakes has been wanting to do more in front of the camera stuff ever since he got his mojo back by doing the Picard series. He didn't want to... He was afraid to even be in the Picard series. He lost his knack for being in front of the camera because he took a step back behind the camera to direct and things like that, direct and produce. So he wasn't sure he still had his acting mojo, but he does. And so now he's more interested in being in front of the camera. He's a friend of the Orville. He's directed 2 amazing episodes of the Orville. He's the one that brought Marina Sirtis in to be on the Orville. Let's get him on the Orville. I think he'd be totally down to play a character. What character? Hopefully not an admiral. I want something a little meatier for Jonathan Frakes. But hey, if it has to be an admiral, we did lose an admiral in season 3, and we need to get a new admiral. Let's have it be Jonathan Frakes. That'll work. Danny Hughes says, okay, came in late. What's the news about the Orville? The news is there's been an update from Seth MacFarlane himself. For anyone here who may have came in late, let's talk about it again really quickly. Seth MacFarlane, he was doing an interview for the new TED series, which premieres this Tuesday on Peacock. But people, of course, are asking about the Orville. Seth MacFarlane, the creator, writer, and star of the Orville, has offered a cryptic update on the sci-fi series Fate. All I can tell you is that there's no official death certificate for the Orville, says MacFarlane. He told The Wrap in an interview when asked about an update on possible season 4. It is still with us, he says. I can't go any further than that at the moment, because he's supposed to be talking about Ted. There are too many factors, he says. But he says it's not over. The Orville is still something to think about. Scott Grimes says, Scott Grimes says, I do know that we are still talking about it, about doing a 4th season. It's not dead in any sort of way whatsoever, says Scott Grimes. This is just the other day that this happened. It's just about when, where, and how, and building the stuff again. Because they are going to have to build a lot of the sets. They kept some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff. The price of storing all that, all those sets was way too expensive, like $300,000 a month, maybe $200,000 a month. Can't remember what they told me. It's one of those two. But Scott Grimes says, I'm excited because it's one of the greatest things to work on. So Scott likes it. Not everybody likes it, but almost 99.9% of everybody likes it. So I just have my fingers crossed. And I know Seth wants to do it, and that usually holds a lot of power. Because Seth has a lot of power in Hollywood, you guys. And I hope he gets to, because it's one of his babies, and he just loves, and it's a blast to work on. So Seth MacFarlane says it's not over. And he really seemed like he wanted to say more, but he's not supposed to yet, because he's got a contract to promote the TED series right now. Everything comes in its own time. And Seth wants to do it. I know John wants to do it. I know that Penny wants to do it. Adrian, we're not sure. I think she thinks she might say no, but I bet you when the offer comes in, she says yes. But I want some amendments to the contract, which is totally fair. So it's coming back, but we don't know when it's coming back. My prediction is that it'll start filming in 2025, but it could be sooner. It might come out in 2025, but there's a lot of stuff for Seth still to finish before he has time to fully go into writing the Orville. And I mean, I know some of it's already been written. I know Sympathy for the Devil episode is already written and ready to go. They weren't able to film it last season. Seth has said that he wants to film it for season 4. So we know that one's done. Maybe there's more scripts done ready. I don't know. They're not going to tell us until they're way further into having a script read and getting the cast back and the sets up. But what Scott said was when. So when they're able to do it, where, that doesn't mean Disney. If we don't know where, we don't know if it's going to be Disney or some other streaming service. I think Disney's the best for them, but I would love it if it moved to Peacock. And how is just doing it. Building up the money, I guess, is what the how is. And building the stuff again. So Seth has actually spoken on the Orville, and he says it's not over, but he didn't say when it's coming back, of course. Of course he's not going to say that yet. Finn, yeah, Kai was a great character. I met Ty, who plays Kai. I do know that when he auditioned, he was so excited that the character was called Kai because it rhymed with his name, Ty. I met him. He's a great kid. He's a really great kid. Very nice, willing to talk and chat, even though he's not as little as he was when I met him, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. But he's a great kid. Didn't Halston Sage's show get canceled? I think it did get canceled. I don't know what she is up to now. I would love to see Alara again. I don't want her to be back fully because I like Tala a lot. She's just a much more believable security chief to me, and I liked how she handled, certain stories and storylines since she's been on the show. But I would love to see Alara again. And like I've said before, I'd love to have her come back and be a full important member of the storyline in whatever episode she's in. I want to see her. We need her help on a certain mission. Her and Tala got to go and kick some butts, tear apart some Mocklins or something like that. Tear down a building. Wouldn't that be awesome? The two are strong enough. Louise Fletcher, rest in peace, says Connor. Oh, you're talking about a character. Kai Wynn, the character. Okay, I was thinking of Ty Winner, who plays Kai Finn or Ty Finn. Now I'm getting mixed up. Is the Finn child's name Ty or Kai? I can't remember. Ty, it's got to be Ty is the character's name, right? So Kai is the actor who played Ty. But yes, you're talking about Kai Wynn. Chris says, I fell asleep listening to Sympathy for the Devil on audiobook. I must have been dreaming while listening, as I thought the second half of the book was way different than others did. No pink elephant. No pink elephant? No, there's no pink elephant. But the second half of the book when the Orville shows up, it's basically just the resolution to the story that we were getting for the rest of the story, the rest of the book. You're following the one character and all the things going on there. What's going on? How is this an Orville episode? Then all of a sudden, well, the middle of the story, or even later maybe, depending on how they film it and edit it, Kelly and Ed show up. Okay, there's people I know. That's the Orville, and then we get the resolution to the story once they show up. You're gonna have to not go to sleep and finish the rest of that book. But yeah, there's no pink elephants. Oh, you want to see Quark again? I wonder if Armin would be down to put on that makeup. I'm sure that the Quark makeup was not easy. And he's a successful actor. He's got things going on. Would he be willing to put on that makeup again for a show? Maybe a one-time thing? Sure. Maybe a guest appearance on Star Trek Legacy if that show ever gets made. I'm sure he would do it. But what if he is recurring? Would he want to do it? The pink elephant had an appointment to be in a parade. And it was running late. Let's see. How do I say your name? Cassius? Cassius? I really enjoyed that story. Yeah, it was a great one. I like the message of the story of sympathy for the devil, and I love how it's dealing with a what-if algorithm story. It's actually talking about algorithms as one of the big topics of that story. What happens if you just let an algorithm go on its merry way and do what it's going to do for years and years and years? What would the repercussions be? Very, very interesting story. Oh, you like Armin as a Nox from Stargate? Hashtag we want Stargate, says the hashtag. Paul D. Well, JP, it's time for me to head out. Please, everyone, remember to hit the like button. Thank you. Yes, hitting that like button. Oh, I got 161 likes. You guys are doing it. You were getting those likes going. Now, apparently, if I say, well, I don't even know if it works in a live stream, but in a video, if you say the word like, the like button underneath the video will have an animation. If you say subscribe, the subscribe button will have some sort of animation. Check it out now. I don't know. I don't have those buttons on my screen. You have to let me know if that works. Cassius. Two-hand T-Man, Cassius. Brian wants to know, is anyone watching Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix? Delicious in Dungeon. I haven't heard of that. I've heard of Dungeons and Dragons. Starfleet Academy sounds great. Boothby. Oh, I remember Boothby. Picard remembered Boothby. They actually had, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's super famous. He played the Doctor on the original Lost in Space TV series, I believe. Or am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. But I know exactly, I got Boothby's face right in my brain right now. Cutsman says, I miss MacGyver. Good old MacGyver. I remember when new episodes of MacGyver were airing. I remember it was a big deal. I think it was going to be the series, the whole series finale. We were going to finally find out. Maybe it wasn't a finale. Or maybe it was just a season finale. Finally find out what MacGyver's first name is. Does anybody remember what MacGyver's first name is? Let me know in the comments below. MacGruber. My favorite Martian. That's it. That's it. My favorite Martian. I used to watch old episodes of My Favorite Martian on Nickelodeon back when I was a kid. Me, no other, says the Strange New Worlds helm officer is like the wisecracking Orville helm. I'm trying to remember who's the helm officer in Strange New Worlds. I like that show. It's no Orville, but I do like that show. Yeah, he looks like the guy, but no, I don't think so. Yeah, you're right. It's My Favorite Martian is exactly who it is, though. Wasn't he on a few episodes of Bewitched also, Boothby? Possibly. It was the right time. Yep. See, you guys always know, because I get things mixed up in my head, especially stuff that happened when I was a kid. I start putting things in places where it doesn't belong. But you guys always know. Boothby was my favorite Martian. Yes. Ray Walton played Boothby. Angus, MacGyver's name. Yes. And then they do a whole, like, flashback to, like, the Middle Ages or something like that in that MacGyver episode. I can't remember. It was so long ago. Cassius. Gotcha, Cassius. I haven't seen Rebel Moon yet. And, of course, the internet being what the internet is, you got people that really enjoyed Rebel Moon, got other people that hated it, but, of course, so many people hate everything, so you can't even really pay attention to that. You just have to watch something yourself and see what you think. Strange New World F's with canon. Yeah, at this point, I don't even care about canon. With all the new Star Trek shows, I'm like, I don't care about canon. Just tell a good story. It's too big of a canon. It's just too big. Plus, I'm all about the legit legacy Star Trek, which is, well, a lot of people say, oh, that's the original series. I'm like, no, the 90s, 87 to 2005, that's my Star Trek. Even though I love the original series, of course. It started it all. The actor from My Favorite Martian played Mr. Hand in Fast Times at Ridgemount High. Over here, dude. I don't feel tardy. Give me something to ride on. See, that went straight to Van Halen to me. But yes, Fast Times at Ridgemount High. Bill Bixby, also on My Favorite Martian. All right, Gio says, MacGyver's first name is Angus. I only remember as I'm a Scot, and Angus is such a stereotypical Scots name. Almost as stereotypical as Scotty. Wikipedia is my backup brain, says Info Warrior. Well, be careful with the information you get off of Wikipedia. But yeah, I usually go to Wikipedia too. I go to Wikipedia to look something up, and then I have to decide if whether or not I think it's true or not. Because Wikipedia is user updated, and it's not an academic source. But I still check it out. Sometimes they got the info. Because I'm like, why would they lie about that? That's why cats have fur, you know. Don Ranger Power says, my number one Strange New Worlds character is Captain Christopher Pike. Yeah, I do like Christopher Pike. You know, character on that show I've come to enjoy their story. What's her name? She's like the security person. I can't remember her name. Yeah, Scotty's name was Montgomery, but they called him Scotty. Even though his last name's Scott. We know why his last name was Scott, and we know why they called him Scotty. The 60s, am I right? When I hear MacGyver, my big mouth says, when I hear MacGyver, I automatically think of the Guyver instead. The Guyver. I'm Dark Fire says, I say it again. The Ark is a good sci-fi show. You know what I watched? I watched a really great sci-fi movie. I can't remember what streaming service it's on because there's a million streaming services and they're all playing around with each other's content. But the movie Jules brand new movie. Ben Kingsley, Jane Curtin, and I can't remember the name of the other actress that's in it. But Jules, alien crashes into the backyard of an old man, and heartfelt hilarity ensues. Khan Noonien Singh's granddaughter, yes, and she's finally coming to terms with her lineage. He was Welsh. I always wanted to go to Wales. Probably only because of a few seasons of Doctor Who. Star Trek original series portrayed Scots and Irish as lovers of alcohol. I think the writers were probably the lovers of alcohol, because back in the day, writers drank. They're probably drinking in the writers' room. That's how we got some of these great stories. But yeah, I think people of all countries pretty much love alcohol. Star Trek. Rebel Moon looks great, but I personally couldn't connect emotionally. Yeah, I'll have to check it out at some point. I'm trying to watch less and less TV, just because I'm like, man, who's got time for all these shows? There's so many shows. And that's another thing, another problem I foresee with these streaming services. I'm like, well, first off, we got too many streaming services. There's more than the audience can handle. Secondly, there's too many shows on every single one of these streaming services. There's too many shows. There's more shows than people can watch. So what are they going to do about that? Bob Iger said we got to invest in quality over quantity. I think that's smart. We'll see if they do it or not, but I think that's smart. Make less shows that are just higher quality, as opposed to just any old thing you come up with off the top of your head. It's not about how much you have, it's the quality of what you have. TV. Lon Noonien Singh is a Strange New World security guard. La'an. Is it La'an? Or La'an? No, I think it's La'an, isn't it? Yeah, Jules, this spaceship runs on cats. You'll have to watch the movie to get that joke. I don't know where the Ark... Somebody let us know where the Ark can be found, because I have seen it on some of these things, some of these services, but I cannot remember at all which one. La'an. Put a chick in it and make her gay and lame. That episode of South Park was hilarious. There's actually even a newer episode of South Park, Cred. Very funny as well. Got to get your cred. It's on Peacock. No. It's on Paramount. And that's actually there's a video I want to... Well, it's just a simple video, just talking about an article. Max is suing Paramount over South Park, because South Park was on Max, and then all of a sudden it's on Peacock now as well with new stuff. And Max is like, we never agreed to, we have a contract with South Park. We never agreed for them to have another contract with another streaming services. Foul play. We sue you, sir, they say. We'll see what happens with that. That's a video I want to bring forth more discussions. Short videos about just a discussion about what's going on with this and that. But I'm not doing that until the channel gets remonetized. YouTube's begging me, JP, please put out some more of your awesome edited videos. No, YouTube. No. Not until you give me back my channel. Seth can sing. I don't know if he can dance. He can dance if he wants to. He can leave his friends behind. Because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine. Brian says for him, the arc is on Sci-Fi. I wouldn't have minded the musical episode of Strange New Worlds, but in my opinion, it's because I felt the songs weren't that good. Yeah, I enjoyed that episode, but I don't feel like watching it again. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I understand where they were coming from, but I was like, yeah, it was good, but I've seen better musicals with better music. But yeah, I did enjoy it, but I don't really care to see it again. Paramount Plus, JP says Don Ranger Powers. So the arc is on Paramount Plus, or are you just correcting me for when I was talking about Paramount? Oh, not the movie studio, but the streaming service. Gotcha. Max is suing Paramount Plus. La'an is my name. Oh, is that how you say La'an? Okay. I don't know if I'll remember that. I've already started calling you Kutzman, so now that kind of stays with me. Elon, okay. Oh, it's that Elon that's here. No, it's a different Elon. There's more than one Elon. My Big Mouse says the Ark is in a warehouse being looked at by top men. Yeah, Cassia says, I agree. Too many shows. There are. I've gotten to the point where anytime I see a new show, unless it's something I really, really want to see, like Ted. But I mean, how many times does a show like that come around? The Orville, Ted. That's it. That's the only two. But all these other shows that come out, I'm like, I start getting mad. I'm like, oh God, not another show. I don't have time to keep up with this. Oh, it connects to 30 other storylines from 30 other movies. Oh, I don't have time for this. I get mad. I'm like, oh, not another show. I'm just going to watch an old rerun or something. Yep. Steamboat Willie. This is the latest news, you guys. Talking about copyrights. The latest news, old black and white Mickey Mouse is public domain. Yes, it's been enough years that the original Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, is now part of public domain. So people are starting to do stuff with it. There's, you know how there was the Winnie the Pooh horror movie that came out like a year or so ago? Well, now there's a Steamboat Willie horror movie coming out starring the original Mickey Mouse. Well, a guy wearing a mask. Wouldn't have been able to do it before. They weren't able to do it, but now they're able to do it. So now you're going to see someone wearing a Mickey Mouse mask killing folk. Disney style. But Mickey Mouse is also trademarked. Well, he became Mickey Mouse later. I'm sure they'll be able to. I'm sure they're able to figure something out to make it where Mickey Mouse maybe doesn't become public domain. Some lawyer rigmarole type thing going on, but we'll see. But Mickey Mouse came. The name Mickey Mouse came about later. Steamboat Willie was around for a while, and then it became Mickey Mouse. Maybe next year, maybe that goes into the public domain. The Ark has been renewed for a season 2 on Sci-Fi, says Brian Dawkins. So for you fans of the Ark or future fans of the Ark, you got more of the Ark coming your way eventually. I'm Darkfire says, Ark was on TV, but I don't see it on my DVR now. It was a great show, basically Battlestar Galactica, but running from Earth. Battlestar Earth. Battle Earth Galactica. Well, I guess it wouldn't be very galactic if it's just on Earth. So that joke doesn't work, JP. Damn it. Symbolic Noise says, I have Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Bundle, Peacock, Max, Paramount Plus, Showtime, Amazon Prime, AMC Plus, and MGM. and I'm trying to decide which platform I'm going to be removing. It's just so much. Start with MGM, get rid of that. That's too new. We don't need that. AMC Plus, watch what you want to watch and then get rid of it. And then maybe get it again when a new season comes out of that show. Amazon Prime, you kind of are forced to have because you want that shipping, yo. Yo, free 2-day shipping. Disney Plus, I watch that the least, but every once in a while something comes out that I want to see on there. Hulu, I watch that all the time. ESPN, not my thing, but it might be your thing, so you might keep that if you're really into the sports ball games. Peacock, that's my number one. That's my favorite. Max, I currently have it. Well, actually, I pretty much have all of this stuff because of the Black Friday deals, but I have it on my calendar exactly what days of the year to cancel each one of those services so I don't get rebilled. It was very good Black Friday deals with streaming this year because they're hurting and they need to get people in because they got no new shows coming out. I would say get rid of... Now, Paramount Plus, the new season of Ghosts is coming out next month. So if you're a Ghosts fan, you might want to either keep it or just pick it back up once Ghosts, the entire season's done, so then you can binge watch the whole thing. But the new Ghost series, and there's something else that they're coming out with that looked interesting. I can't remember. Yeah. For me personally, that list, I'd get rid of MGM and AMC. Because a lot of AMC stuff comes to other services after a certain amount of time. Like Netflix finally has all the seasons of Better Call Saul. I haven't watched season 6 yet, but it's on my to-do list. And I'm Dark Fire just wants to let everyone know in this new year, don't Google Blue Waffle. Don't do it. What's up, Smoke? How you doing? I hear A Planetary Step is coming back in 2024. The Orville fan series, you guys. Resident Alien, great show. That's on Peacock, I believe. It's good. I recommend Resident Alien. Alan Tudyk, you can't beat him. It's a great sci-fi show. It's got great humor, but also has some serious things that happen, but it's got great humor. And it does something that the Orville does very well with Bortus is you get to make commentary on humanity by seeing humanity through the eyes of an alien character. So that's something you can only do with alien characters. Is you can really look in on humanity through the eyes of these characters. Resident Alien does that. It's funny. It's great. It makes you go, we do that, don't we? New Doctor Who's coming out. I enjoyed the latest Doctor Who special. I like that they're just simple episodes. It wasn't like some huge story arc. I thought it was going to be a huge story arc, but no, it was like 3 separate episodes. And then there was the new one that came out on Christmas Day with the new Doctor, so we got to see one of his stories. The story was okay. He's okay so far. It's too new to have him, to have any true feelings about him, but I don't know. I've kind of lost interest in Doctor Who. I think they got too much money now. The effects look too good. I kind of like it when they weren't as good. But yeah, I liked it enough. I just don't know if it was enough for me to say, hey, I can't wait for that new episode. I'll probably let the whole season will probably come out, and then maybe I'll catch up and binge watch the whole thing at some point. Jeff B says Black Friday deals are the way to go, guys. Hulu was 99 cents a month. Yeah, I currently have Hulu at 99 cents a month. Disney Plus for like the same. I got so many Black Friday deals. I'm paying like $12 a month for everything. And then of course I'll be losing some throughout the year as their timelines expire to get that deal. Because I'm realizing having all these services that I don't need all these services. There's too many things. I don't got time for that. I got bills to pay, Jack. And, oh God, where was I going with that? Yeah, all these deals. So basically what I got with Hulu, Peacock, Disney Plus, I think I got all that stuff for like a whole year. So when the time is up and it's time to cancel, there will be new Black Friday deals. So I'll cancel all that stuff right on time and then get the new Black Friday deals and pay super cheap for next year as well. It's brilliant. Brilliant, JP. I cracked the code. Info Warrior. I grew up watching the original Doctor Who series. It was fun. Never followed it after. I saw a little bit of Doctor Who, like on PBS when I was a kid. Interesting, but I mean, I couldn't really get into it because it was only on whenever. You never knew when it was coming on. But then in 2005, when the Christopher Eccleston reboot, basically, of soft reboot of Doctor Who came out, boom, I was with it. I watched it all the way through the Peter Capaldi stuff. Like, you know, every time a new episode out, I was watching it when it came out. Watched all that. I started getting tired of the series in the middle of the Peter Capaldi stuff. The whole Sarah, she was just lasting way too long. I'm like, you already killed her, and she had a great send-off. The reason she died was for a really great heroic reason, but then she's back again. And then I started getting tired of it, and I just started not liking the look of the show. And then they got, I can't remember her name. I watched a couple episodes of her playing Doctor Who. It was fun. But I just kind of was like, it's not really my thing anymore. So I stopped watching it. But I really enjoyed the new special that came on Disney Plus, because it was fun to have David Tennant back, and I can't remember her name, even though I know her name, but she played Donna Noble, the grandfather. So good to see all these old characters. But once they were gone, I was like, okay, maybe I'll check out the new Doctor at some point. But if not, oh well. But at some point, I'm sure I probably will. Symbolic Noise says, I met Rose McIver on Twitter. She was the main character in iZombie, and she is one of the main characters in Ghost. She's the star of Ghost. I love her so much on that show. I found that Miss McIver is really down to earth. She's a New Zealander. Yes, that I knew as well. She makes that show for me because she reminds me of Jessica, my wife. Or my wife reminds me of her. No, my wife reminds me of her. No, she reminds me of my wife. I can't remember. Anyway, so every time I watch the show, I'm thinking of my wife as the star of the show. And so it adds extra meaning to me. But I just love the characters on Ghosts. All the Ghosts are great characters. A lot of fun to watch. And that's on both the US version and the UK version. UK version, very much worth the watch as well. They kind of have similar stories, but the episodes and the storylines are different enough where you're getting different adventures. It's great. Paramount Plus comes with Walmart Plus. I saw an ad for that the other day. So 2 services in one. What's up, Paul Smith? Is EGOTASTIC fun time? EGOTASTIC fun time? EGOTASTIC fun time? EGOTASTIC fun time. I say ECO-tastic fun time. I see. Am I eco-tastic? I'm ecto-tastic with ghosts. Like with the Ghostbusters. The Ecto Fun is the name of my vehicle. I really enjoyed the new Doctor. That Goblin song kicks. It's a banger. Yeah, I did like that story. It was just a nice, simple villain entity or group of people, a group of bad guys. They're just trying to get fed, just trying to eat some coincidences. Danny Hughes. I really can't stand Donna Noble. You know, I remember when her character first appeared on the show, you know, that first season she was in, I was the same way. She really put me off, but then I started to understand the character a little bit more, and now I think she's great. It's hilarious, funny, not having this Doctor Who's being Doctor Who, and she's not having it. Everyone else is impressed. She's not as impressed. Brings the Doctor down to earth a little bit, which is fine because, you know, the Doctor loves being on Earth. That's his jam. Elon says, "Give me all your money. Give me all your money. You will find me funny." Brian says, "Before you quit MGM Plus, take a look at Beacon 23, 180 Years of Deep Space Lighthouse Keeping." Hell yeah. Better be watching that Beacon 23. I've been watching on, I want to say it's on Hulu. Hulu just put out a full season of this 90s documentary. It's a documentary about the 90s. Every episode's about a different aspect. The music, the movies, comedy, technology. I started watching that. I've watched about 3 episodes so far. I'm enjoying it. There's a couple of 90s documentaries out right now. Yes, on Amazon Prime. Thank you, me no other. Season 3 of Upload is out. The full season. Season 3. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it if you're a fan of Upload. If you've never even heard of Upload before or just been thinking of checking it out, go on Amazon Prime, start with Season 1, Episode 1, and work your way through 3 seasons of digital fun. It's a fun show with some fun social commentary with some sci-fi stuff going on and just a very interesting concept about the afterlife. What's up, Orville Nation? How you doing? I'm Darkfire says, Donna reminds me of an ex. I love that character. Whoa, getting into some deep stuff here. Donna reminds you of your ex. I don't have any follow-ups to that. I was just trying to think. I didn't have anything to say. Chris says, I'm a big Upload fan too. Not perfect, no, it's not, but different than any other show I've ever seen, and fun. And a lot of the fun, I'm thinking of the movie Idiocracy, where they're doing, Idiocracy made a lot of jokes about products, about corporations, you know, Carl's Jr., things like that. Upload has a lot of fun with the future of you know, production company studios, merchandising companies, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. A British ex at that, says I'm Darkfire. Whoa. Because Donna Noble is also British. Thank you, PJ. Happy New Year, JP. Thank you, Orville Nation. Much appreciated. I wish I still had my sound drops, but I had to rebuild a whole computer. It's set up from scratch, so I haven't had time to get sound drops back and set up and things like that. And I need to make some new sound drops. I haven't made new sound drops in a very long time. Nicola is good. For some reason this week, maybe the last week and a half, Nicola has decided she wants to hang out in the bathroom, which is weird because her whole life she's had nothing to do with the bathroom. She doesn't care about it. She first started out hanging out in the bathtub. I think I mentioned that last week. And now all of a sudden she's hanging out on the sink. And she has dirtied up that bathroom. We have to clean it. There's little paw prints, dirty paw prints in the tub, on the toilet, on the sink, on the countertops, all because of this little furry cat. Symbolic says, I'm keeping this one because I'm grandfathered in with Paramount Plus Showtime. They sent me a letter for this verification because they said that I have been with them since their launch. What? You're OG Paramount Plus Showtimer? Well, yeah, if you're grandfathered in, keep it, because they're not really... Well, I say this because I got the Black Friday deals. I was going to say they're not very expensive. I'm like, well, I pay hardly anything because I had the Black Friday deal. So if you got the money, get it. If that's what you want. There's stuff on there to watch. Paramount has stuff that I watch. I can't remember what any of it is besides Ghost, but I think there's a couple things that I'll throw up. Oh, they got South Park now. Different guy, JP. I don't know what that means. Brondo, the Thirst Mutilator. It's got the electrolytes plants crave. Same fire, but she was more lovable, says I'm Darkfire. Danny Hughes says, sorry people, I don't like Donna Noble. I get it. She's an off-putting type character. It took me a while. Mr. Tommy Pickle says, perhaps there's a drip on the sink she likes. I had a cat that loved the drip. I checked for that because I thought of that as well. And there's no drip. And I even turned it so just a little bit of water would come out. And she was like, and she ran off. She don't want nothing to do with water. But yeah, I thought that same thing. But no, I think she just found a spot she likes. She's up high on the counter so she could look down on everybody. So she thinks. It's not that tall. But to her, it's gigantic. It's a huge building. She could leap tall buildings in a single bound. Yeah, Upload has 3D printer food printers. That ends up being funny a lot. They do a lot of fun stuff with the food printers. Yeah, Beacon 23 is MGM. I do have to end this stream here in just a minute. I promised I'd only do 2 hours. So in about 8 minutes, I'll have to say goodbye. But for those of you who didn't hear it, or maybe are just still hearing it, or maybe you just want to hear it again because it's so good to hear, Seth MacFarlane says... He said it in 3 or 4 different interviews just the other day. The Orville is not over yet. So you got to hold on to that. Crush it into a little ball. Swallow it so it gets into your belly and keeps your belly all nice and warm. And then when we finally get the announcement of when the Orville is going back in production, you can spit it back up and show your warm Orville ball. I don't know what any of that means, but it's a thing, you guys. I didn't see the new Godzilla. Which new Godzilla? Isn't there one with it doesn't have the word Godzilla in it. Maybe Gods and Monsters? I can't remember what the name was, but I don't remember if that was a Godzilla movie or not. But I do know I've seen footage of a new Godzilla movie, and Godzilla looks different. His face looks, I don't know, more animated, more, you can read his expression a little bit more. I don't know, his eyes look different to me. Cats change their minds all the time. That's true. My cat does all the time. Me No Other says, also like Good Omens with David Tennant as Demon Crawley. I watched season 1 of Good Omens back when it was brand new. Totally enjoyed it. Love David Tennant as Crowley. I have not seen season 2 as of yet. But I do remember reading a lot how they were never, ever, ever going to make a Good Omens season 2 because it was not the right thing to do, but then they made it anyway. I'm like, well, what's the story behind that? I'm sure it's fun, though. I plan on eventually watching it. All right, Curtis. We'll see you later. My Orville ball sounds like a cat hairball, says Chris. That's it. That's what I'm thinking of, Tommy Pickles. Monarch. Legacy of Monsters. What's up? Is it Scouse Sandy 71? Hi, JP from Liverpool, UK. My buddy Ringo was from Liverpool. I wonder if you ever met him. You got to say Ringo, because if you say Paul, George, or John, those are just pretty normal names. But if you say Ringo, people are like, oh, okay, you're telling a joke. I get it. Warm Orville ball. Blech. Let's see. Cassius says, aside from constant Googling, how does one learn of Black Friday subscription deals? It's usually not only on Black Friday, but a couple days before. You just go to any of those subscription services, any of those streaming services, and you try to sign up, or you just go on them. Maybe log out so they don't know that you already have a subscription, and it'll tell you right there on their front page if they have a deal for you or not. And if they don't allow you to get their Black Friday deal because you already have an account and it's for new people, just cancel your account, sign up under a different email address, boom, you're brand new again and you get the deal. So my plan every year is to sign up for all these streaming services super cheap for Black Friday, and I'll use a different email address if I need to. Because it don't matter. It don't matter if you have the same email address for years or what with these services. Just get you a new email address. It's free and save you that money. Godzilla -1. Paramount Plus has Beavis and Butthead new episodes. Says me no other. I'm not going to do a Beavis and Butthead impression, but I almost did. Popped into my brain for a second. Season 2 was good. I assume you're talking about Good Omens. What's up, Rance from Canada? How's it going? What happened? Oh, here we go. The longer Disney drags their feet, the more I think that it must revert back to Seth if they actually officially cancel it. Last thing they want is for it to be on Peacock. Yeah, I think Disney will do it. They're just waiting to save up the money to afford it, because after all the strikes and stuff, they're probably on their butts right now. But Seth says it's not over. It's still with them. They want to do more. We'll just have to see what that ends up meaning with different streaming service, maybe the same streaming service, maybe some new rules, shorter, not by shorter episodes. I don't mean short episodes. I mean still long ass episodes, but not 82 minutes long episodes, maybe 60 minutes or less episodes, minute episodes. Oh, David Tennant played a droid in Ahsoka. It'd be hard not to recognize his voice, am I right? Idiocracy would be a great TV show, me no other. I am so on board with you with that. Let's produce it. Let's make it. I saw Idiocracy in the movie theater opening night. Opening day, I should say. It was daytime. I left the theater and the sun was still up. Man, there was hardly anybody in that theater. It was me, my girlfriend at the time, and our friend John, and a couple other stragglers in the theater. Loved the movie. Absolutely loved it. Couldn't believe hardly anyone was there. There was no commercials for it. They had absolutely zero budget for promotion. I just happened to know what the movie was because I read an article on it a year before that it was in the works. So I just remembered it. And when I was looking up, and I remembered to look it up, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for that movie. And I looked it up. Here it is. It's premiering this day. Went and saw it. No one else was there. Total flop because they had no budget, but it became a cult classic. Idiocracy is such a great movie. Moorville, that's right. Hashtag Moorville. If you guys are talking about the Orville online, don't forget hashtag the Orville, hashtag renew the Orville, even though it's going to be renewed anyway. But maybe more hashtag renew the Orvilles will give us a bigger budget as those add up. And hashtag Moorville. And my personal favorite that I came up with, hashtag Fourville. Because we want that season 4, baby. All right, you guys, it has now been 2 hours, so it's time for me to say goodbye. I want to thank you for contributing to the PayPal Tip JP a beer celebrate thing. Help keep the lights on here. Very much appreciated. Patreon link is also in the descriptions. More coming from EGOTASTIC FUNTIME, especially hopefully by next month we're remonetized, and that means I'm editing videos again. Please, YouTube, please accept my reapplication at the end of this month when I send it to you. But thank you all for your support. We got a long way to go with these hangouts, because we're going to be having these live shows talking about the Orville until there is more Orville. And when there is more Orville, we're going to be talking about Orville then. We're going to be talking about new Orville. And then once that season's over, we'll be talking about old Orville, because all episodes will be old because they already premiered everything. And then we wait for season 5. 5 through 9 is what I'm hoping for. Thank you very much for hitting those like buttons. I'll see you guys very soon. And as always, I hope all your times are EGOTASTIC fun times, but also we all do better when we all do better. Love you. Bye-bye.